After seeing how much people liked my last video on Bilbao, I decided to do another team with a different transfer policy. This time Chivas, who only sign Mexican players, is the team we're going to be looking at. So Chivas are one of Mexico's most successful sides. Along with the long-term rivals Club América, they're one of only 2 teams that have never been relegated to the second division. But like I've previously said, they restrict themselves to only signing Mexican nationals. This doesn't mean they have to be born in Mexico. You can play in America, be born in America, and be raised in America, and still be valid to play for Chivas. You just have to have Mexican nationality through your parents or grandparents. According to a study of preferred football clubs, published in April 2016, Guadalajara is the most popular team in Mexico, and 44.2% of the country support the team. Chivas themselves have one of the better squads in the Liga MX, with experience up front in Oribe Peralta. The Chivas youth system is one of the most famed in Latin America, and recently they've had players such as Javier Hernandez, who played for Manchester United, Carlos Vela, who played for Arsenal, Carlos Salcido, Carlos Fierro, and Erick Torres coming through the system. The latter 2 were known as wonderkids at the time, but they've not quite progressed to where they thought they could get. The club's youth recruitment is the best in the country and probably the best in North America, so you can simulate this easily in FIFA by just getting good scouts. The policy of only signing Mexican players does hurt Chivas, as Mexican teams do price their homegrown talent higher when they know there's interest from Guadalajara. This is easy to get around though. Guadalajara have one of the biggest budgets in Mexico, so they can get around this. They have $29 million at the start, and that's only going to go up as you sell your academy players. So, speaking of the academy players, Chivas should have one of the best academies in North America to start off with. They'll begin with some decent players in there already, but of course you're going to want to sign more and more of these. You'll need to keep the supply of Mexican talent coming through, as of course you won't be able to get much else from the transfer market. And to keep it realistic with the Guadalajara name, I think you should definitely scout Mexico, of course. But the original team consisted of Mexicans, Belgians and French players, with a few Spanish and English players joining in. So realistically you could maybe justify scouting these nations and hoping that they have Mexican heritage, but more likely you're going to want to be scouting Mexico, United States and maybe one of the South American countries, although this is a bit debatable. Definitely scouting Mexico and the United States of America is the way to go, but I would only sign the American players who have Mexican names such as Hernandez and Gonzalez, which plenty come through on FIFA 21. Of course you can just buy the talent from other teams who have scouted players, but like I said, they might be priced up a little bit because they know that you're Chivas and you're desperate for Mexican talent. Unfortunately, the stadium for Chivas is not in the game. It's a wonderful stadium in real life. It's pretty big and it looks quite nice. But the league is fully licensed, so you'll have the right advert boards and the right presentation graphics. I do think this rule is a bit easier to follow than the one that we did for Bilbao, because it's so much easier just to search Mexico rather than having to rely on something like FIFA for having a list of Basque players. But I do think the experience of playing in Europe is a bit more fun on FIFA. As there's no continental competition, if you play in North America, you're mainly just relying on the domestic game, which you can probably overcome pretty easily if you're playing in Mexico. The standard teams only start off around 75 max and go down to 67 overall rating. You start off with a team that's around 71, so you can see there's not much progress before you start storming the league and just dominating everything. If you find this fun, then this might be the perfect challenge for you, because you've got quite a big limit, and also you have to play a youth academy save, which a lot of people do enjoy doing. But if you do like a bit more of a challenge, maybe this would get a bit too easy for you after a few seasons. So in conclusion, this is just an easier version of the Bilbao challenge, although Spanish players are usually a lot better than Mexican players, on FIFA especially. There is a bigger pool of players that you can use for Chivas, and you're not restricted with the academy names like you might be if you were playing a true hardcore version of the Bilbao save. Judging from my viewing stats, I don't think many of the viewers on this channel are actually Mexican, so if you do know anything about Mexican football, feel free to drop it in the comments and you might be able to educate some of the more European focused members of the channel. Like always, if you do have any ideas for future videos, feel free to let me know in the comments, or join my Discord, which I'll also link in the comments. But for today's video, that's all, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.